Welcome back to TPS. Sometimes it's easy to understand when an NFL player retires. Injuries, a loss of desire, and age are usually the main factors. But there are a handful of NFL all-time greats, including Hall of Famers, who caught the football world off guard when they retired in their primes. Let's dive into 12 NFL legends who shocked us by retiring early.
At TPS, we post videos every single day, so don't forget to click the subscribe button to subscribe. Then click the notification bell to be notified when we post a new video.
Number 12, Tony Boselli. Regarded by some as the greatest Jacksonville Jaguar of all time, he was a 5-time Pro Bowl offensive tackle, and he was named a first-team All-Pro 3 straight years from 1997 to 99. Tony played an integral role in helping the Jaguars reach the 1996 and 99 AFC Championship games, too. The Houston Texans drafted him in the 2002 expansion draft, but unfortunately he never suited up for them. Tony was dealing with a left shoulder injury and decided to retire at the age of 31 during the 2003 offseason. Number 11, Marshawn Lynch. Beast Mode enjoyed a 5th Pro Bowl season in 2014, and he would have led the Seattle Seahawks to their 2nd straight Super Bowl championship if they had fed him the ball at the 1-yard line. After the season, Lynch signed a 2-year extension worth $24 million. Injuries limited Lynch to just 7 games in 2015, and he was unproductive in their divisional round loss to the Carolina Panthers. On the day of Super Bowl 50 between the Panthers and the Denver Broncos, Lynch tweeted out his plans to retire before his 30th birthday. This was obviously a huge surprise to many, as Lynch remained a top-tier running back and still had plenty of football left in him. Of course, he came out of retirement in 2017 and played for 2 seasons for the Oakland Raiders, then retired for a 2nd time in 2019, which didn't surprise any of us. Number 10, Otto Graham. By far the greatest quarterback of his era, Otto Graham revolutionized the position during his playing career, which spanned from 1946 to 55. He led the Cleveland Browns to 3 NFL championships and won a trio of MVP awards. The Hall of Famer earned 5 Pro Bowl selections and led the NFL in practically every major passing category numerous times. Graham retired after leading the Browns to an NFL championship in 1954, but he was later slated to come back for another season. Graham went 9-2-1 as a starter in 1955, his age 34 season, and led the Browns to a 3rd NFL championship, showing he still had plenty of football left. However, Graham decided to hang up the cleats and go out on top rather than continue his illustrious career. Just imagine if we got to see him and Jim Brown together. The latter joined the NFL in 1957, 2 years after Graham's final season. Number 9, Lynn Swann. Part of the legendary 70s Pittsburgh Steelers dynasty that won 4 Super Bowls, Lynn Swann was a trusted weapon and go-to guy for quarterback Terry Bradshaw. Named to the 1970s All-Decade team, Swann was a 3-time Pro Bowler and earned Super Bowl 10 MVP honors. But Swann surprised everybody when he announced his retirement at the age of 30, following the 1982 season. Swann said he was tempted to play another year, but he couldn't pass up an ABC broadcasting gig, where I would later meet him a few years later, while I was working for ABC. Swann said he didn't regret his retirement, and he was later inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Number 8, Rob Gronkowski. Widely regarded as the greatest tight end of all time, Gronk accomplished practically everything the New England Patriots could only dream of when they drafted him in the 2nd round back in 2010. Gronkowski emerged as the greatest weapon that Tom Brady ever had, even though his body was beaten up badly, including 3 season-ending injuries. Gronk earned 5 Pro Bowl selections and was a 4-time first-team All-Pro. He would have broken every tight end record if he stayed healthy. No, Gronk won 3 Super Bowls with the Patriots. That's kind of good, right? There were rumors about Gronkowski retiring in the 2018 offseason, and he admitted that he nixed a trade to the Detroit Lions. Gronk told the Patriots he didn't want to play anywhere else, so Bill Belichick kept him, and it paid off. Gronkowski missed 3 games in 2018 and recorded just 47 receptions for 682 yards and 3 touchdowns, but he made some big plays in the postseason and set up game-winning drives in the AFC title game and Super Bowl 53. Yes, Gronk still had it. But ultimately, he decided the injuries were too much, and with so many other opportunities ahead of him, Gronkowski retired weeks after the Patriots won the Super Bowl. It's a shame that injuries forced him into the decision at the age of 29, because it looked like he had a lot left in him. But you can't blame a guy for prioritizing his health first. Number 7, Kurt Warner. The 2-time MVP and Super Bowl 34 champion with the St. Louis Rams enjoyed a career resurgence with the Arizona Cardinals. Warner had one of the best seasons in 2008, leading the underdog Cardinals to a Super Bowl 43 appearance, where they narrowly fell to the Pittsburgh Steelers. In pursuit of a second ring, Warner came back for the 2009 season, and he defied Father Time once again. Warner completed 66.1% of his passes for 3,753 yards and 26 touchdowns against 14 interceptions. Warner led the Cardinals to their second straight NFC West Division title and a thrilling overtime win against Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers in the wild card round. They lost to the eventual Super Bowl champion New Orleans Saints in the divisional round. However, as Warner had to leave the game suffering an injury. Warner retired 2 weeks later, wanting to spend more time with his wife and 7 kids. He had 1 year left on his contract and showed he had plenty of football left in him, but he ultimately decided it was time. Number 6, Patrick Willis. The 49ers drafted Willis 11th overall in 2007, and boy did he deliver. Willis emerged as one of the NFL's most dominant defensive players, earning 7 straight Pro Bowl selections from 2007 to 13. The stud linebacker was also a 5-time first-team All-Pro, and he was named Defensive Player of the Year in 2007. Willis anchored a 49ers defense that reached 3 straight NFC Championship games from 2011 to 13, and he led the club to a Super Bowl 47 appearance. Unfortunately, a nagging toe injury limited Willis to 6 games in 2014, and he underwent season-ending surgery. Willis shocked everybody when he retired at the age of 30 during the 2015 offseason. Aside from 2014, he was relatively healthy throughout his career and was still in his prime. Willis is one of the many big-named 49ers that retired that offseason. Defensive end Justin Smith and standout 2014 rookie Chris Borland also decided to call it quits. Some wondered if Willis would come out of retirement and give it another go, but it never happened. Number 5, Tiki Barber. The 3-time Pro Bowl running back spent his entire 10-year career with the New York Giants, which spanned from 1997 to 2006. Barber played a key role in helping the G-Men reach Super Bowl 35, where they fell to the Baltimore Ravens. Barber recorded 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons from 2002 to 2006. In the latter year, he had 1,662 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns while helping New York reach the postseason. Barber retired after the 2006 season, citing the beating his body had endured and that he wanted to enter broadcasting. Well, the Giants wound up winning Super Bowl 42 against the previously undefeated New England Patriots 1 year after Barber had retired. Barber attempted an NFL comeback at the age of 36 in 2011, but nobody signed him. Number 4, Calvin Johnson. For a brief period in the 2010s, Megatron was the best wide receiver in the NFL. It was nearly impossible to cover one-on-one at 6'5", 237 pounds. He even beat double coverage and often needed 3 guys on him. That's how dominant he was. The 6-time Pro Bowler recorded 1,964 receiving yards in 2012, the most ever in a single season. Together, Johnson and Matthew Stafford breathed new life into a Detroit Lions franchise and led them to the playoffs in 2011 and 14. Johnson recorded 88 receptions for 1,214 yards and 9 touchdowns in 2015, further displaying he had lots of football left in him. However, Megatron retired at the age of 30 during the 2016 offseason, leaving a reported $67.7 million on the table. In 2017, Johnson opened up more about his retirement, citing the beating that his body went through. Megatron also explained that the Lions refused to release him and he knew the team had no chance at winning a Super Bowl, so it wasn't worth his time. Johnson also criticized the Lions for treating him poorly, such as forcing him to return a paid roster bonus. Number 3, Jim Brown. Regarded by most as the greatest running back of all time, Brown was a 9-time Pro Bowler who led the Cleveland Browns to an NFL championship in 1964. Brown led the league in rushing 8 times, and he earned 3 MVP awards throughout his illustrious career. Simply put, there wasn't a running back as dominant as Brown during his prime years. The world was stunned when Brown retired in 1996, when he was just 29 years of age. Brown led the NFL in both rushing yards and rushing touchdowns with 1,544 and 17 respectively, and he took home the league MVP award that same year. In his defense, Brown didn't have anything else to play for, and he was in the early stages of a successful acting career. Cleveland Browns owner Art Modell reportedly told the star running back that he'd be suspended if he wasn't present for training camp. Brown went out on a high note and hit it big in Hollywood, so we're sure he doesn't regret leaving the game early. Number 2, Barry Sanders. Few NFL players have ever taken over a game the way Barry Sanders did during his time with the Detroit Lions. The supporting cast around him was never great, and yet Sanders led them to the playoffs 5 times, including the 1991 NFC Championship game. The flashy workhorse running back earned 10 Pro Bowl selections, plus 2 Offensive Player of the Year awards. And he was co-MVP along with Brett Favre in 1997. Sanders led the NFL in rushing 4 times. His 15,269 career rushing yards placed Sanders 3rd all-time, and his 99 career rushing TDs are good for 10th all-time. After passing the 2,000-yard mark in 1997, Sanders rushed for 1,491 yards in 1998. He was still on top of his game and had several good seasons left. It was more than evident. However, Sanders shocked the world when he retired via fax to a newspaper in his home city of Wichita, Kansas. He had just signed a new long-term deal with the Lions, and Sanders was fully healthy and still in his prime. He had the chance to compete for another Super Bowl while setting the all-time rushing record. But nope, he was done. Sanders didn't reveal the reasons for his retirement. In 2019, he admitted it was clumsy, but that he had no regrets. And number 1, Andrew Luck. He inspired us to do this video, so it's only fitting that Andrew Luck comes in at number 1. I mean, what else can we say? What else is a Pro Bowl quarterback coming off of an MVP-like season retired before his 30th birthday? Luck missed the 2017 season as he recovered from off-season shoulder surgery, but he bounced back in 2018 by throwing for 4,593 yards and 39 touchdowns against 15 interceptions. He led the Colts to 10 wins and a playoff berth, winning the Comeback Player of the Year award. Luck and the Colts were set up for a big year in 2019, but 2 weeks before the regular season, he announced his retirement. Word came out during a Colts preseason game, and Luck confirmed it shortly after. Luck said the amount of injuries he endured took the joy out of football, and he simply lost the desire to keep playing. Luck decided it was time to explore other opportunities, and with a wife and baby on the way, nobody could really fault him. But still, there weren't any indications that he would retire. And again, he was only entering his age 30 season. And so, this once-in-a-lifetime QB prospect who lived up to the hype in every aspect wound up only playing 6 NFL seasons before calling it quits on his own terms. Not something we expected, that's for sure. What other NFL legends shocked us with early retirements? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you like the video, then like the video. We'd really appreciate it. And don't forget to tune in to TPS for more cool videos every single day.